check. Check it out. Good morning, Singapore. I'm Ben. I've got monkeys. Fantastic. So I'm here to represent Xamarin, monkeys, and Azure Sphere. I tried to make this talk slightly less boring than it was. Yes, if it's tedious, just tell me to stop talking about it. This is not working, it's working. And I'll stop. So we've got about like 50 minutes to talk about these two great topics. Number one, let me get some slides. Number one is, yes, let me do something along those lines. Bim, bam, boom. Great. No. Yes, excellent. This is not really working, this microphone. Can I leave it on the table and shout all the time instead?
Oh, okay.
Good. Right, so, dotnetconf today, fantastic, like it. What we're going to be talking is about spatial anchors with Azure. So basically we're going to talk about Pokemon Go. That's more or less what it is. Just if you want to develop Pokemon Go yourself, that's how you do it. It was a little bit complicated until quite recently because spatial anchor, the ability to look at an object in space is complicated because you've got GPS, for instance, and GPS doesn't work basically for this kind of a very precise location. So they had to develop something else, and this is precisely what they've been doing. So we're going to have the ability to drop some object in space and be able to retrieve it, so we can share it. So if I put like a Pikachu here, everybody can use the same app and we'll all be able to see a Pikachu at the same place. But that's going to be more about monkeys because obviously we're Xamarin and we're not Pokemon, so that's right. Anybody is familiar with Xamarin or not? It's a double-edged question and you don't know how to answer. Yes, anybody knows Xamarin? Yes! Excellent. Xamarin, monkeys. What is Xamarin? I'm going to tell you what it is. That's pretty much the Microsoft offering that allows you to develop some cross-platform application in native platforms. So it's going to be iOS, Android, Tizen, web. I treat web actually as native as well because you can deploy Xamarin to web now through Blazor, Wii, or even like Uno, I suppose. And also Mac, Windows, anything you want really. So it's got a native performance. This is not a non-native app. Everything is totally native. This is just pretty much provides you the ability to write some C# or F# directly and talk to the underlying operating system kits, such as just like Android or iOS or Tizen or whatever. But what is important is it is actually talking straight to those kits. So that is just basically native. So .NET code is running, and then there is a shell that allows .NET to talk to the native operating system. So we're not talking about hybrid applications. That is just like the real stuff, nice and native. So performance is fantastic, cross-platform, and it's also free and open source. So if you want to participate and create some pull requests, the Xamarin team will be delighted and give you some monkeys. So that's pretty much how it works. Shared C# code, business logic, platform API, user interfaces. You've got like kind of the Xamarin native that allows you to basically use the usual AXML user interface definitions that Android provide, or you can use just like the UI kit in Apple iOS ecosystem to do your user interface, or you've got Xamarin Forms that provides you with a kind of unified layer. So you write your UI definition once using XAML. If you're familiar with WPF, that's pretty much the same XAML, more or less, and you can just like deploy to run. The UI will be looking the same, was the same if you wish to do so. It's fantastic. So, okay, again, .NET on the context of iOS, you've got all your beautiful toys. You can just use any NuGet package. It's great, and then that is going to be talking straight to the native operating system, what's going to be running. Same for Android. There you go. So now, augmented reality. What is it? I think that with the phone it's slightly tedious, but yes, whatever. We'll talk about it anyways. It's going to be better when we'll be able to have some lenses or some implants implanted straight into our brain, so we don't have to carry your phone around in order to be able to see some Pikachus in real life. So augmented reality, yes, as it says, the ability to augment the reality and just put some information, some objects, some whatever, that is going just to make the user the reality more useful. Yeah, that's not the right term. Whatever, it's great. So in this case, we're going just to be placing some object on the floor, because the floor is there, such as I like to put a box on this table. I will just take my phone, let the operating system figure out where is the plane, how does this room work. So, okay, now I know where the floor is. I'm just going to be able to attach an object to this floor. If I just drop it on the air, you can just pretty much do something along the line of this object is going to drop and still settle on the floor, because the operating system and the kit, the AR kit or AR core for Android and iOS, will be able to help you out there. So Azure Spatial Anchors is pretty much what I just mentioned. It's just the ability to get the location where you're going to be dropping an object in space, and make sure that it's going to be shareable and just findable again by just other applications. In this case, we're going to be using CosmosDB and the simple Azure App Service in order to be able to power that thing. And we'll be going through a small demo that is maybe going to work or not, and then I'll show you how to do that with code. Right, let's do this. So I'm going to try to run the demo. It's probably going to fail, and if it doesn't work very, very quickly, I will then just do something else. Actually, you know what, change of plan, I'm just going to show you the video directly and then try to run it. So we are going to be using a Xamarin client app, which is going to be able to retrieve anchors that we would have dropped with the admin app. So admin app, I look at the floor, I just drop a box, it's there, and then with a client app, which everybody could be able to download if I publish it, let's say, you'll be able just to find the same objects on the surface. And it's going to be powered by a normal, just like app service that is going to be running a .NET Core 2.2, not 3 yet. I could have updated, but I didn't. 2.2, and just you would be able to say, hey, can you give me just like the spatial anchor for this monkey, for instance, that will retrieve the coordinates and put it and render it using the AR toolkit. So client admin app, which is going to be running on the phone. Then we've got the Azure Spatial Anchors NuGet, which is just a NuGet package that will allow you to just perform this operation. That is simply going to be literally, well, two sides. One side will be just like, again, to save it to a database using an app service, and the other bit will be able just to, once you get it back from the service on your phone, to be able to make sense and just tell the underlying operating system and the augmented reality SDK to make sense of it and display it. We're going to use Xamarin as an application host, so we can run in iOS and Android. And again, a web service, which is going to be a normal app service. You can run on iOS and Android. You could run on Windows, I suppose, but I haven't been trying the AR kit on Windows. I'm not even sure if it exists. It probably does. You don't really sure that. But we're going to be using AR kit, so again on iOS and AR core on Android. I could have done the application of Xamarin Forms, which means that they would be using the same kind of entry point to consume the services, but that would have been not really relevant for the topic. So we're going to be using Xamarin Native, which means that the user interface definition services are going to be separated and need to deploy basic. Well, that's going to be different code. If you wanted to, you could just create a layer on top of it to be able to say, hey, doesn't matter if I am on iOS and Android, just give me the service for the platform I'm currently running now, and sort it out. So the Azure service itself is going to be using the Azure Spatial Anchors services. I will show you where it is on Azure. We're going to be using a document database called CosmosDB. If you don't know about it, you should, because it's great. It's got like multiple kind of interfaces that basically understand like Azure tables or MongoDB. And it's highly available and easy to replicate all across the planet, so you can have some single-digit kind of latency, just central latency, I suppose. That is in preview. We're going to be using Azure Tables, been there for a long time, just API service. There you go. Straight to demo, so I'm going just to play a video, and then, so you can see it working, and then I'll try to make it work for the time. So that is basically the client app, sorry, the admin app here. So the idea is to, well, here we go. So I'll be with my phone here, and I just look at the floor. I just want to drop an anchor that I call whatever, and I scan my floor, which is going to, that is running on iOS here. So for the operating system and the augmented reality kit to be able to understand where is the floor, so I can drop things there. And once that is going to be done, it takes a while, but progress that is going to be indicated, then you can actually drop an anchor, and that is going to be then saved to the Azure service. And that's about it. So now we've got like an Azure service that's got like an anchor that is called whatever, and it's, the coordinates are saved nicely on Azure. Then what we want to do is just use the client application to be able to retrieve it. Up. And that's what it is. No, it's not what it is because I'm on the wrong slide. This is what it is here, right slide. Excellent. So now we've got a service to retrieve the list of anchors that has been dropped. To make it easier, you're simply going to select the one you want to find. You could just like make it differently if you wanted, but just for the sake of demo, that's easy. And then I would just basically drop the anchor on the location that has been saved previously using the admin app. Make sense? Yes, very simple. It's just like Pokemon Go, right? If you play Pokemon Go, you need to put Pikachu somewhere. So you've got one app to put Pikachu somewhere, and then the other one to get like flocks of people, about 200,000 of them, going at certain various location. I've been actually really freaked out sometimes by just like at the time Pokemon Go was super popular, but like suddenly hundreds of people just trying to run after something that nobody else could see. Genuinely bizarre experience. Is that still going on these days? This thing is dead now, right?
Some people still play.
A little bit, yes. That's good. So it's over. It will be much better when again we'll have some brain implants that allows us basically to be in perpetual state of hallucination, because that's what it is at the end. Pikachu's everywhere. Interesting world. How many minutes do I have for this one?
30 minutes.
So, excellent. So, go away. Code. That is definitely that thing. It's actually currently running on my Android application, on Android, like well, actually debugging. So here, for instance, I'm just going to try to drop an anchor called Bobo. So I'm just going to try to create it. It's going to be scanning the floor. You don't really see it. I could just show it on my screen. I will do in a few minutes, but that's what it's doing, scanning the floor. And you can see that I'm not making about, I'm running the thing for real. It's saying that we've got 52% of floor scanned. There we go. Find it 72%, 76. It's happening, is it happening or not? Yes, here we go, paf. And I just dropped an anchor here. I should put it on my screen really, but hey, where are you anchor? That is sending, so I just dropped an anchor and now it's actually calling the service to actually save it, which it would do successfully, as I can prove. I'm going to put a breakpoint here, a breakpoint here, a breakpoint here. I wish I could put a breakpoint here. Yes, here we go. Up. So it's going to call the service and we've got a response that is going to be along the line of, yes, 200, excellent. The anchor has been saved, congratulations. And now it is there on the floor, so where is it? No, it is not there on the floor, so it failed somehow. Or I moved too much. Yeah, there we go. So that's the job demo. Let me stop that for 1 second. I just want to run you through the code, and then if you've got a bit of time, again, I would just like try to have a successful demo, which is just rare those days. All right, I'm going to put, is that big enough? Maybe a bit more, like 130? More? More? Okay, 150. Okay, ish? Yeah, all right. Everybody likes code? Yes, excellent, code is great. Thank you very much, too. We are going to be, that's good. By the way, when I make some demo, that's something that I do is just create a lot of to-dos on my task list, and then I can just click there and say, wow, I know exactly where I'm going, because I've got like about 20 points to look at, and that would have been relatively difficult. The other thing, if you're doing some demo, just a cool little tip, got a toolbox here. Anybody knows what is it for? You don't, right, you can use it as snippets. So if you're doing a demo and you don't want to mistype in front of an audience, what you do, you just take, okay, I want to take this bit of whatever, and I take my toolbox, so I go there, and up, drag and drop here, and then if I want another one, I say, hey, there, that's fantastic, that's super useful for demos, I'm telling you, that's the way forward. Anyways, now that's the magic tips that has been explained. Let's go to number one. Number one is going to be, it's not there because it's an XML file, JSON file, so we are looking at the service settings, there we go. So here, this is just like the config file to tell you that I'm actually not working about. I'm going to so that is the service project, right? The sharing service that is just running on Azure, and I can also prove it because I'm proving stuff. That is just real. This is live, right? Running on Azure. This is a service that I deployed that allows us to drop some anchor, get them, and all that. So, for instance, if I go here now, I should be able to see something. Hopefully, if that worked. Exactly the same. Should. Yeah, look. I got two anchors called Bobo. That's probably what confused the system, because I just called two things exactly the same thing, and now the system is, wow, we've got two Bobo, which Bobo to display? But anyways, if I just drop another anchor and call it something like Raphael or just like Magdalena, we'll find it as well. So that is live, it's working, it's fantastic. So, and that is, this data is persisted using, again, Cosmos DB and as a connection string. So if you're not familiar with Cosmos DB, have a look at it. So now we are on the context again of the web service. So that is again on .NET Core web application. So if you're familiar with .NET Core, you'll see what it is. That is a controller. Here we are on the world of MVC. So here I'm just saying, hey, I just would like to get again the anchor number whatever, and we've got a service that is going to be able just to retrieve it for you. Then you can go in the underlying service and say no. Sorry, go to implementation, we want to go on the Cosmos DB1, and that is just going to pull out like a Azure table and just like session data. In this case, it is cached because you've got the ability to cache your data with Cosmos DB quite easily, which is pretty handy on the context of mobile application, because then if you don't have connectivity, you can easily say, hey, I've got my stuff there, the application is working, instead of having, oh, you are offline. Which is also basically, in case you don't remember, possible if you're on the web world with PWA, right? We just create a nice little service worker, and then you can be online. Offline doesn't matter. You can create like your policy to be able to cache whatever you want. Fantastic. If you are developing web application and you didn't put a service worker in there yet, go to PWA app builder. It's an ellipsis, but I don't care. I'm going to do that anyways. PWA, that is good. Builder, here we go. That thing. So just like simply go there, just put your name of your site, just do a couple of clicketies. It's going to generate a couple of JavaScript files. You put that on the root of your web application, and there you go. It magically would be able to be available offline, and your users would be liking it. I hope. If they don't, then just take it to a higher authority. So. So here, that's the bit that is going to show you to insert an anchor. We actually already saw the result of that. We're just again creating a service or just sending a stream, which is information of the anchor for anchor data, really. And we're going to store that on Cosmos DB. That is just like to show you the bits that are needed in order to actually get this app running. So you need to have a special anchor account ID. So that would be on, where do I have an Azure thing? This one, maybe portal, right. Portal.azure.com, that should be good. I'm not sure which browser is the one I'm logged in with. Yes, good, excellent. So if I go to a resource group here, I'm on the wrong one, excellent. So I am one of these cases where I've got two Microsoft accounts with the same email, one personal one and one for my work, and that is just like a pain to leave, and I cannot change them. That's yeah, that's what is happening. I'm trying to log in on my Azure account, but I am on the wrong one. But it's okay because I've got other browsers such as Chrome. Chrome is not as good as Edge. I've got to say that today. Use Edge. Edge is good now. It's Chromium, so it's good. Like it's Chromium, it's a Mosaic or whatever. Anyways, just they drop doing their own things, and they just went in the common ground, make a lot of contributions, so the world is a better place. You can already feel that everything is better, don't you? Yes. Portal.azure.com. Yes, if it doesn't work now, I will just. Okay. Yes. I'm going to try here maybe. Too many browsers, too many windows. Come on. No, okay. I'll do it, that's fine. So if you don't have this application yet, buy it. It's very good and it's kind of unhackable. I've got like all my passwords in one place, and you won't be able to look at them because they're all nicely tucked away. So Microsoft, path, and you will never know what my password is. It's fantastic. Keep me signing. Okay, let's do that. And then it's going to just to ask me for just doing this thing properly. No, I'm here already. Yes, excellent. So resource group, resource groups. Got exam UG user group, of course, and then you've got your special anchors account right here. And this is just, there's nothing much to see. We'll be able to see that there is just a little bit of traffic, but that's what it is. So that's what you need to create in order to, how many minutes I have? 5, 12, a million?
2.
1?
2.
2 minutes? All right, and then we are back to here. So you need to have the account to have the ability to be able just to make sense of those anchors on Azure. You need to have a key that goes with it. It's just like any Azure service are more or less the same for that. Then you've got the URL of the web application that is going to be hosting this stuff, which in this case was that guy there, right? It's just running for the sake of completion, because I like things to be complete even if it takes time. That is running on that thing here. That's having plan, right? That's here, and I'm not making it up. It's 3, 2, 1, go, do it. No, yeah, that's it. Anyways, that's what I wanted to do. Okay, give me a URL. If I go there, path, that's a thing. Fantastic. And then finally, you need to, so obviously we're using it like a Xamarin application, and you need to be able to tell the application where things are, more or less. You need to register your application on Azure AD, which is I create an application, it's got a key and a secret, and then basically you can communicate with other Azure services, and the world is just like also a better place. It's fantastic these days. Then not that, let's come back to where you should be. We have the REST client itself, which is just going to say, hey, please just like give me we saw that in action again, just like go and talk to the service and save the thing, or just give me the things. Then this is the actual Xamarin part of it, right, on the UI. So here we are on the iOS context. So anybody's been doing some augmented reality development yet? Just me. So I'm going to tell you complete rubbish like that, and you wouldn't care because you don't know what it is. Fantastic. So it's made mostly take some string gums and a little bit of mashed potato, put it together, and you've got a monkey. All right? We're good? No. Or ultimately the same thing. You've got a concept of scenes. You've got like both iOS and Android will have like a toolkit, and it will just you create a drop a scene basically, which is a thing that we saw, right? Just camera, and it will know basically where is the floor. Once the floor is known, all the plane areas are known, then you'll be able to do some things around. It's getting better and better, such as dimensions are getting better. I will not go through that, but that is just relatively easy to use. That's my point. So just create this thing, put it on the frame, just drop that on your UI, and we're good to go. Then we want to create some anchors and to process them. So it's just like, hey, let's just drop an object and draw it at an area that we want it to be on this AR view, and at the same time, just please save this stuff to Azure. So this is kind of how we are doing it here. See, we're just processing the frame, and processing the frame is relatively complicated. I can show you what it looks like because I can, but it's good to use little things. Yes, well, actually it's going to be tedious, so let's not do that. And that is that. So that's a bit that is just going to say, hey, just like let's put this bug on the frame, and if we move about, it's going to stay in position. We are good. And that is a bit that is simply going to say, hey, save the stuff to the Azure service. We saw that bit already. And then we're going to say, hey, please, ARKit, start tracking, and we want the plane, the surfaces to be detected to be the one that are horizontal. Could do vertical as well, or just like oblique, I suppose. There you go. Or none. If you just want nothing to be done, that as well. Fantastic. And then you just like start your session, which is going to say, hey, let's start sending stuff to Azure, and it's very good. We're setting the account detail that I showed you a little bit before, and we get the stuff running. We've got a bunch of events that you are hooking to because we're in .NET World. So for instance, if there is an error, do that when an anchor is located. So when I know where to, I've got like coordinates and whatever, I know that needs to go there. You've got to tell your program, please draw a nice box there, and then the AR kit will just take it and just draw it. And it's just once it's just completed, please do something so we don't have to keep on rendering it over and over again, let's say. And then we're creating the box itself, which is basically something along this line. Okay? If you've been doing a little bit of UI kind of geometric rendering, you know what it is. Relatively, a box is made out of how many surfaces? Six? Yeah, good. 6, and that's a box. If you put only 5 of them, that probably would be an open box, let's say. And if you leave an open box, even on an AR stuff, you've got a cat around, the cat will get in the box. Anybody's got a cat? No? Right. That's what they will do. I've got cats, they go in boxes. And then we create an anchor, just again using our service, and that's going to send the data. I'm repeating myself a lot because I've got 0 minutes. I think I am minus 5 minutes already. Yeah. And then I could show you the same thing on the Android side of it, but I think you've got the idea. It's just pretty much a bit more of the same, right? It's just going to be la la la. We've got a fragment, it's because Android works with fragment, but ultimately we're still going to drop like an AR surface and then just do the same thing over and over again. Is it done for this session, or shall I?
Yeah, you can move on.
Sorry?
You can move
Next
on.
one?
Yeah.
Excellent. So I think that I'll conclude this session because I've got another one to go through. Quick question, anyone? Before I move on to the next session.
How do you write the cube coordinates?
Sorry?
How do you write the cube coordinates? There's an icon, how do you write for each?
Well, you know, it's actually a cube. It's just like one thing. If you're on iOS, it will be done like create a box. There we go. Where are you? So yeah, you've got that's a box, and it's going to have a width, and height, and a length. It doesn't really matter because the engine knows how to render it. So it's just you don't have to do it itself. I just said it's got 6 surfaces because I'm a smart pants, and I've got to say things like that all the time in order to be annoying. Good. One more question. Not a difficult one, please. My brain is not working good. Simple. Just my name is Ben. Done.
Is the AR framework unified nowadays, or you still have to code for both platforms?
Well, you need to code for both platforms. As I mentioned, if you wanted to use it on Xamarin Form, you can do that, but you've got to create the scheme that is going to kind of make them happy. So you create an interface.
AR framework.
So well, yes, I suppose that somebody will probably have done that, but they are very, very similar because that's pretty much one way of how the thing works. Is just, hey, number one, makes sense of the environment we're in, which is by putting some little dots everywhere. Makes okay, that look is kind of mostly flat. We're good, and then you can just interact with it because it will make sense of its own coordinate system, for instance, and then you just place them in the coordinates you want them to be, which is if you tap somewhere, you'll say, okay, yes, it looks like you want this box to be on the floor and not in mid-air. If you want it to be in mid-air, that will work as well. But they are very, very similar now, so it's good. So if you know one, probably won't even need to read the doc of the one for the other one. So excellent. So I am going to close that thing. Should I save it? Why not? Drink some water. To the next session.